Here we go again. Yay for us. Good opportunity to think about and look at some ideas. I prepared some, I think, interesting ideas to consider and to look at. Something that's been on my mind for some time, and I wanted to get it out to the world and to anybody who's interested. So here we go. Very happy today to introduce a concept that I think is very important to the people of the world. And that is because so many times people grow up in a small little town and they learn concepts from a small little group of people with very small thinking. And they grow up thinking that this is all there is. They grow up with a small number of friends, with a small number of teachers sometimes, and then life becomes that. And they stay in their community sometimes. And even people who get outside are have these viewpoints that stick with them. There's a particular political viewpoint, there's a particular religious viewpoint, there's a political moral and beliefs viewpoint, and those viewpoints stay with them pretty much for their whole life because they don't have the perception that I want to share today, and that is that it's important that we find out for ourselves. It's important that we explore and experience things for ourselves, that we authenticate and look at ideas objectively and go into many, many perspectives so that we have perspectives that are not limited, that are not so small. It's not to say that the things that we were brought up with are not great, or that the people that taught us, who are teachers, were somehow trying to deceive us. It's not that. It's that there are so many perspectives and so many ideas out there that if we allow those people, that small group of people, the small group of ideas, to constrain us in what we think about, what in life, and in also in things of afterlife, then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be living and working in a place that's not so healthy. So I want to start with this assertion. Accepting what people, however well-meaning or authoritative, give you, without thorough analysis and experimentation, will leave you with as small of a perspective as the small group of the people that you grew up with. Isn't that so true? I mean, you know people around that just kind of stay in this place and they think about things a certain way. If they read something in a book, that's the truth. If someone taught them something who's an authoritative figure, then that becomes the truth. And those are the things that take many years sometimes to work through and to analyze and to look at. And it's not to say that they're not great, but its problem is that it's not authentic. It's just something that we take and absorb and assume. And it's not going to be as healthy or as a broader perspective as possibly we could have. So here's the idea. Look at this side. Look at that side. Look at all the sides. And see what perspective we have. All perspectives are valid. And we have all different things that are thrown at us. We have so much information today. A perfect example of this is I grew up in a beautiful country called New Zealand. And while I was in New Zealand, I learned that there are a number of different ways of thinking about life and acting. My American background taught me that material things and things that you buy with money are the most important. That the American perspective was the perspective, that they were the dominant ideals, and that those were the ideals that were right. And when I grew up in New Zealand, I found out that there are many, many different perspectives. I learned so many things about love and about things that weren't materialistic, about taking care of people and about relationships. And I learned that there are many perspectives that are as valuable, if not more valuable, in many regards than the perspectives that I learned as I was brought up in until I was 14 in America. So I want to talk about this for just a moment and just explain that every person's perspective is valid. For example, the American press has a great way, and the American defense establishment has a great way of making enemies of people. They create these titles like terrorists and bad guys. There's this great opportunity to teach people that we have enemies and that we have to fight them and we have to kill them. And you know from your perspective, you know from your life that these people are human beings, that they have perspectives, they have valid perspectives. They may think differently than we do. They may have situations to where perhaps they have been abused and tormented and bombed and hurt, and people of their family killed by many times the supposedly good guys, the American troops. But there's this other perspective of how they are. So it's important that when you're looking at perspectives, that you look at both sides. Look at this side and that side. Look at the perspective of those who are being maligned and being criticized and critiqued. Why is it that they act the way they do? Why do they think the way that they do? What if there's a different perspective that could be useful and interesting to consider and look at? Here's some criteria that I believe that we can all use, that we could probably all agree on, that would be helpful in looking at some of the ideas that are given to us. If the ideas that you're given promote separation or divisions and disharmony, you can be sure that the ideas are too small. You can be sure because you look at the results. You look at the results that they produce. If the ideas that you've been given produce separation, produce enemies, produce situations where you feel badly about someone else because they don't have the same perspective or the same belief system that someone taught you. Deep down inside, there's love within you. There's understanding, there's tolerance, there's harmony. We are all part of this bigger whole. We are part of the whole universe. And the universe works in love. It works in harmony, in making things correct, to making things work well together. It's about taking another person in another consideration and lifting them, of helping them and assisting them, not shooting them, not killing them, not hurting them, not distancing them. It's about bringing them into the love that you have, the love that you are, into the love of the universe. All these ideas that you've been given that make you feel like if they're this political party or this religious party or this, and those people are automatically bad, or if they wear this, or if they look this way, or they do this, that they're bad, that they're evil, that they're an enemy, that we have to fight against them, that we have to kill them because they're different. All those ideas, you know deep down inside, they don't work. They're a part of people that think too small. They're a part of people that think in ways that separate and divide and hurt. Those are not healthy kind of decisions or ideas. Further, if the ideas that you are given, now I say that you are given these ideas because people taught them to you. When you talk about your own authentic ideas, the ideas that are native to you, those are the ideas of love and peace and care and concern. If you're given ideas that produce actions that kill and maim and hurt others, there's a deception going on. This is the worst kind of deception. You cannot live comfortably and peaceably with the care and love in your heart and have these ideas that you have to separate these people. And if they think differently than you, then you have to kill them and maim them. You have to blow them up. You have to treat them a certain way. There are so many wars and dissensions and problems going on right now because people think that if someone thinks differently than them, then they become the enemy. There's some parents that teach their kids that it's okay to strap some kind of bomb on their body so that they can kill and hurt other people that think differently than them. There are whole nations that think that the only way to function and organize and work is if they create enemies, if they create bombs, and that they create divisions and hatred. Himmler was famous for his quote that says, all you have to do if you want to keep the masses under control is create an enemy. Create an enemy that will keep them excited and growing together as to try and fight this enemy. There's so many governments that create enemies. They create an enemy just out of something that they say, and the press picks it up, and they buy into this. They're not enemies, they're people. They're human beings with thoughts and children and concerns. You know that if you're taught this kind of idea, that it is incorrect. You know that because deep inside, you know that that's the situation. If you want to find out, you want to explore and discover, this is the simple ways of looking at it. If you want to find out about love, love people. Love them with all your heart. Love them even though they're different. Look at them from a different perspective. The more you love, the more you can love. The more you love, the more you understand tolerance and understanding. And you recognize that the faults and concerns in other people are all in us. If you want to learn about ideas, read and study every idea. Find out all you can about every idea and every perspective on it. If you want to learn about relationships, have a relationship. Have more relationships. Have many, many relationships and see what happens when you learn from those. And build some great ones, especially the one with yourself. More specifically, to find out about the divine, don't believe someone else's point of view. Don't listen to someone else that says that this is the way it is just because it's in a book or someone said this is the way it is. The only way to find out about the divine is to find out about the divine in you and to build relationships directly with the divine. That's the only way you can do it. That's trustworthy. That's the only authentic way. Okay, so the question is, how do you do that? You create a divine dialogue. You open up your mind. You tune in and have a discussion, have a dialogue. It takes desire and determination because it takes focus and concentration. It's between two intelligent entities, and you're one of them, even though you may not believe that. This is the finest experience you can have in this life, is to connect with and develop a relationship and develop a loving, kind, informative dialogue with the divine. They are the coolest. They're the smartest. They've been around for the longest. They are the most loving of the whole universe. They're the best of the best. Why wouldn't you want to have a relationship and develop something with them? These type of dialogues teach you and inform you at the deepest level, at your soul level. They change you and develop you into something that's very different because it comes from inside. And more importantly, they connect us to the one, which is all of us, the whole, everything, and also to each other. You will never get any kind of concept that's going to divide you or make you feel like you're better or less than someone else when you have a dialogue with the divine. Find out for yourself. That's the only way you can really know in this world. So many people rely on someone else's point of view. They rely on one of their teachers. They rely on their parents. They rely on their friends for their perspective. And it's lazy. It's not accurate because it's only what they know. It's not to say that they're bad or that they didn't have a good intent. It's just to say that they're limited by what they know. So I'm asking you to get into the knowledge, learn and develop, particularly as it regards to the divine. Learn from first person. Learn from your personal experience what it is to connect with the divine. And that will begin and extend that relationship even when you're not on this earth. It's the most wonderful and exciting opportunity and experience you can possibly have in this life. Find out for yourself in all of these areas and see what you can do to shift the world and shift the world's perspectives because of what you know. Thanks for listening. Let's talk again sometime.